So I'll just start with something very interesting, man, for the youth, So I studied in Dehradun from a boarding school. So always lived in a boarding school away from family, and that was by choice. My parents never wanted to send me, but I wanted to live away from my parents, and I thought as a child also when I was in class seventh that that's the best option. So I went to a boarding school called Hopetown Girls, and right after that, when I was 17 years old, I went to England, and my parents didn't come to drop me. I went all by myself. कहानी यहीं से शुरू होती है about expressing yourself. So, I was just walking past like a notice board in my college which said, what, people who want to participate for the elections or want to nominate themselves for standing up, please put your names down. So I was just wondering, I was like in school, I was always like, leading something or the other, always as a prefect and all of that. Why shouldn't I do it at that moment as well? But I was very scared. What if I'm like an Indian and people might not like me or whatsoever. So but at that moment, there was this inner voice like, express yourself, humans are same everywhere. We all have like two eyes, a nose and a mouth and two ears. We're all same, right? And we all function at the same level, at a human emotion level, so why not? And that's where I wrote my name down. I was trained to be a leader. Like, we would have classes every day, and like of how to become a leader in the college. And that helped me really brush myself up, understand how to be there, very inclusive and all of those things. If at that moment I wouldn't have expressed myself just by putting my name down, probably I wouldn't have never got that opportunity to learn a lot of leadership skills, to probably end up winning the elections as a vice president of my college, and then doing further more things. So I think that was my first instance of expressing myself also, but that was very subtle. I didn't realize what I'm doing. In 2014, when I got back to India, very interestingly, because I studied in a boarding school and then I went to England, I did not have friends in my own hometown. And I really love my hometown. Like, I'm a diehard ambassador of my city and of my state, as you can see my cap also. So I'm very, very proud of where I come from. So, like, got back here, didn't have any friends, was very depressed. I was like, why am I back? This is like like, I don't want to be here. It's so dirty. And how when you come back from England and how you have these notions and that India is very bad and all of that. So that was exactly the same state of mind that I had back in 2014 when I got back to India from England. Getting back to India was very depressive for me. I was legit in deep depression when I got back. And also because I didn't have any friends, and I'm a very social person. And when I got back here, I tried to meet people, and a lot of people would ask me what my surname was. I started wondering that why are people more about judging from where you come, what your region is, what your religion is, and so many more things. And very interestingly, I started with a social experiment because I wanted to meet more and more people and make more and more friends, and this inquisitiveness of why so much discrimination. And in this social experiment, it was very crazy. So I met a lot of people from different walks of life. With some people, I would go out on coffee meetings or coffee dates, as you would call. And these people asked, so hey, what's your name? I said Nupur. And after a few minutes, they said, oh, sorry, did we miss out your full name? I'm like, no, I didn't mention. I'm like, what's bothering you if I am a Khan, Bhardhat, Kumari, or Singh, Jaiswal, or anything? How does it matter? And so I made like a proper survey. I used to come back home, write down who said what. And that got me to a conclusion of, why people are doing this. And because of this, what is the socio-political condition of our country. So in a small town like Dehradun, these things were very prevalent, although Dehradun is a very cosmopolitan place, but still, and so on and so forth. I went and did this in rural villages, in smaller towns, smaller cities, and got a lot of data, like got a lot of insight. In this process, also while getting this insight, I also heard a lot of stories of a lot of youth and a lot of my age people who were struggling with a lot of lack of self-expression. So this was very interesting, because today you still see a lot of social media and a lot of people trying to express themselves. But also, I believe if you carefully look at things, they are not actually trying to express themselves, but they are trying to express what the society is trending on. Let's say on social media, also, they would try to put those songs which are trending on social media or Instagram, because they want more and more views or more and more likes. They would put up dance videos on those songs which are more trending and not something that they really like. They would use hashtags or words which are more trending rather than expressing what they really want to express. So very interestingly, similar things back in 2014, and trying to understand that, why aren't people not able to express themselves and why things are going haywire. So very interestingly, I'll tell you a story. I think you'll all relate to it. When a child goes in India, when a child goes to, his or her parents, तो पापा को बोलते हैं, पापा यार ये कर लूं, मम्मी यार ये कर लेते हैं. The first answer would come was reply that would the parents would give would be no, नहीं, ये क्या होता है, रहने दो इसे, चलो मेरे को थोड़ा सा बताओ इसके बारे में, या रहने देते हैं. Because what has happened is, at least for my generation, that was the case. We were always denied a lot of things without even listening to reasoning or why we want to do it. The first answer was no. Like everything that you came up with was a no. And probably then people like parents or the society would settle down and say, okay, fine, now sit and tell me what you're trying to say. But the first instinct would always be no, like the basic instinct would always be no. So very interesting, got to a conclusion where because people are not able to express themselves, they don't have the capability to accept. That is why everything. So, have the capability to accept. And acceptance is something that leads to tolerance, that leads to more peaceful, and that finally leads to being happier, that finally brings a smile on your face. And because when you are happy, you have the ability to make a lot of people around you happy, and you radiate that energy of happiness. And the day you imbibe that and practice that and have that all the time, you will have the capability and the energy and the divine support, or you always have the divine support, but the energy to be happy and peaceful and spread and radiate that happiness. So yeah, that has been my journey of self-expression. And what was the outcome when I did all this survey and realized that two things that are lagging in our society, especially the region or area where I come from, and back in 2014, I believe even today that's the scenario, which is a very discrimination full of a society full of discrimination. We're always judging where you come from, what gender you are, what region, what language do you speak, rather than appreciating that. And because we've always felt so much of discrimination, despite the fact that India is the most diverse country on planet Earth, we've yet not been able to take this diversity as a pride of the nation, rather convert this diversity into discrimination and lead a country with a lot of parity, a lot of discrimination, violence. We could be 1,000 times better there. Better from where we are. I'm not saying India is not good enough. India is one of the best countries that you can come across and growing. But I feel we as citizens of this country, we as youth of this country really should take this step forward to not lay the foundation of any sort of discrimination, and also to express ourselves without aggression. Youth always has a lot of energy and a lot of perspective, and they always want to express and to the ultimate. But I believe what we lose in that expression is our grace, which should not be lost as a youth. And what we should really imbibe is the dignity while we are expressing ourselves as youth. So this is what I learned in my entire experiment while I was, again, probably as old as a lot of listeners out here, about the age of 23, 22, and things like that. So, and this led to an entire ecosystem of creating a movement called Dehradun Drum Circle. Because as you mentioned, I myself, as a musician, I sing and I play a few instruments. So I thought that music is the best way of self-expression, because I knew it, and I thought that's the way I can probably gather people and give this value system out there, especially to the youth. And the beautiful part is that, today this movement is of about 20,000 people. आज हमारे क्षेत्र में, हमारे स्टेट में, रूरल, अर्बन, सारी जगह मिला के 20,000 लोग ड्रम सर्कल करते हैं। ये कोई नया कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं है। हमारे पूर्वज इसको सत्संग के नाम पे करते थे, where people just come together and play music and sing and dance together as a community. तो वही हमने एक मॉडर्न कॉन्सेप्ट के साथ शुरू करा, ड्रम सर्कल के कॉन्सेप्ट से 2014 में। और बस एक पार्क में जाके बैठ गए, और वहां पे जाके हमने कहा जिसके पास बर्तन, भांडे, बाल्टियां या कुछ भी हो, वो सब चीजें लेके आए। वी विल प्ले एंड वी विल जस्ट एक्सप्रेस आवरसेल्व्स। तो उसमें सिर्फ म्यूजिशियंस, या मतलब उसमें बहुत सारे लोग आए, उसमें डांसर्स आए, फोटोग्राफर्स आए, और सब लोगों ने केवल और केवल अपने आप को एक्सप्रेस करा। एंड जैसे आप लोग स्पोर्ट्स खेलते हैं, आप क्रिकेट खेलते हैं तो, या आप फुटबॉल खेलते हैं, उसमें आप केवल और केवल स्पोर्ट नहीं सीख रहे, उसमें आप टॉलरेंस सीख रहे हैं, टीम वर्क सीख रहे हैं, पेशेंस सीख रहे हैं, कोऑर्डिनेशन सीख रहे हैं। सिमिलरली ये एक पब्लिक मूवमेंट करा गया, जिसमें हम लोगों को लगा कि अगर हम सब साथ में आके म्यूजिक और डांस करेंगे and drum bajayenge, and we'll all sync, our hearts will sync in the same frequency, and we will all be on the same page. And trust me, that movement got people out of cancer, and I am not kidding. Like, kid me, you can go and check out this page, and it's called Dehradun Drum Circle on Instagram and on Facebook. हमारे ज़माने में Instagram इतना popular नहीं था, Facebook था, and people have come up to us and told us that our cancer got fixed, we got out of depression, and our child is in a much better space. The people who were of older age, who felt lonely, because Dehradun is a city of retired people, so a lot of retired people were here, elderly people were here. They said, we look forward to this because हमें यहाँ पे अपना बेटा मिल गया, हमें यहाँ पे अपने ग्रैंड चिल्ड्रन मिल गए, और हम इनके साथ इतना अच्छा कनेक्शन है। तो वो एक मूवमेंट, ऐसा मूवमेंट था जिसने हमारी सोसाइटी को डिस्क्रिमिनेशन फ्री बनाया हमारी, और वो आज भी जिंदा है। आज वो 20,000 लोगों से ऊपर मूवमेंट होता है हमारे स्टेट में, अलग अलग जगहों पे होता है। तो डिस्क्रिमिनेशन फ्री बनाया जहां तक, और आज भी उसकी वो गूंज जारी है, आज भी उसका वो स्लोगन जारी है, लोग उसको अपने अपनी जगहों पे करते हैं। हमारी सोसाइटी को और एक्सप्रेसिव बनाया, जिसके वजह से हम लोग और टॉलरेंट बने, और पीसफुल बने, और खुश रहे, और एंड वी बिकेम मोर एफिशिएंट एज ह्यूमन बीइंग्स, एंड मोर आई वुड से accepting to a lot of things, and that led to open a lot of boundaries. It made us limitless. तो ये चीजें थी। और एक जो बहुत बड़ी चीज हुई इस मूवमेंट को देख के, इतना सारा यूथ और इकट्ठा हुआ, उसके दिमाग में, उसके जहन में इतना पॉजिटिव एक पॉजिटिव वाइब आया, और एक पॉजिटिव तरंगे उसके दिमाग में आई, जिसके वजह से उन लोगों ने भी, और यूथ ने और बहुत मूवमेंट्स चालू करे, जैसे जस्ट ओपन योरसेल्फ, और एनिमल्स के लिए कुछ कुछ करा। मतलब बहुत यूथ आगे आया, और उसने अपनी अपनी ग्रुप्स बना के, अपने सोसाइटी बना के, जिन चीजों में वो अच्छे थे, और जो वो सोशल एंगल्स पे, पेड़ बचाओ, पेड़ बचाने के लिए, फॉरेस्ट बचाने के लिए, जनजातियों को बचाने के लिए, और इन सब चीजों की अवेयरनेस फैलाने के लिए इतने बहुत मूवमेंट्स चालू है। और आज भी ये एक पहल चालू है, एंड हमें बहुत खुशी होती है कि इस हमारी एक छोटी सी कोशिश से, इस एक छोटे से मूवमेंट ऑफ सेल्फ एक्सप्रेशन से एक इतना बड़ा शिफ्ट, एक सोशल लेवल पे शिफ्ट आया है, एक इम्पैक्ट आया है, which has changed lives of millions, I would say. तो इसी बात से मैं पूर्ण विराम लेती हूँ, और अपनी बात को यहीं खत्म करती हूँ। और ये मैं एक आखिरी बात बोलना चाहूंगी कि शायद मेरी बातों ने आप लोगों को प्रेरित करा हो या नहीं, मुझे नहीं पता, बट आई एम वेरी ग्लैड दैट आई एम हियर, एंड कोशिश यही रहती है कि हम जितने ज़्यादा लोगों के साथ इंक्लूसिव हो सकें और जितने लोगों को अपने साथ लेके, या हम उनके साथ, आई वुड से हम उनके साथ चल सकें, कोशिश कर सकें कि हम कहीं वैल्यू एडिशन कर सकें आप लोगों के साथ, I'll be more than happy. So please let me know if there's anybody, guys, anybody who's listening to this, there's anything that I can do for anyone. मेरी इतनी हैसियत या कोई औकात या कैपेबिलिटी तो नहीं है, पर अगर मैं साथ में आपके बस खड़े रह सकूं शायद, तभी उसके लिए भी आप मुझे बुला सकते हैं. And I'll be more than happy to just be there for you. So keep evolving yourself. Please be kind to one another. It's very important to be kind to one another. And please keep expressing yourself with a lot of grace and dignity. And don't be aggressive. If you do not agree to something, it is okay. It is good to not to agree. And when you don't agree, please don't be sad about it. Don't fight about it. It is okay, because when you don't agree, there's always an opportunity to learn, to convert your challenges into opportunities. So, which is very nice. So express yourself, be kind to one another, and keep evolving. Thank you so much.